Hey, welcome back. We are now in 2024. Apologies for last month and all the chaos that happened around the time we were going to record and shoot this with our office cats, kittens. Yeah, it was very tragic. It was a very tragic time to see that happen, and just we got Panda, treated the Panda's the black and white one. He's the other brother, and he was showing signs, and we got him. I had to force feed him water, force get him some nutrient paste. There's like this little gel thing. They don't like the taste of it very much, but it's like very concentrated nutrients, and I had to do that for like a couple days until we got him into a vet, and they got him some shots. Good news, there was no virus, no nothing like that. It was just food poisoning. So whatever they ate, they were in trouble. And Ibo also, she she had some trouble too. Her eyes actually her eyes got really darkish, greenish, yellowish or something, very bright. It wasn't normal. Obviously, kidneys, something going on there, trying to process a toxin out of her body. So they got something. Unfortunately, I brought them back something, and they must have ate it. Maybe it was a rat or something that had poison. I don't know. But it's sad because Jaggy, he was kind of the life of the group. He went sort of out of his way to just kind of antagonize, but he was also a lot of fun too. And right now, that's Abby calling right now. She's actually just had her spay job done, so she's kind of walking around very awkwardly, anyways. But all right, enough of that for now. Back onto course with Broken Hammer and our projects, Dust and Air and Project 2. It was actually a very active month when it comes to looking at the Unity and all the different possible options on the build. We tore into Nanny Novel full time. We really have been looking at it. I've been digging into it, trying to discover what's going to be our better option, what's going to be the best solution. Are we going to do Nanny Novel? Are we going to do Rempe? Rempe is still in the mix here, and there is one positive with the Nanny Novel is that it's a little bit easier than Rempe, so we can easily like convert our scripts over to Nanny Novel. It's just the setup and a lot of the other stuff beforehand is a lot more to do because you have to do it in Unity, and there is a bazillion menus and settings and all this sort of stuff that does not apply to what we want to do. It applies to all these other games, other possibilities, but yeah, it's looking good for Nanny Novel. I'll just say that right now. Um, Everything just takes time to learn, though. That's just how it's going to be. And we're getting a better grasp of it. I mean, it's kind of like I allude to this. It's like Tyranno is kind of like your regular Toyota or Honda or simple car. It's not. It's an automatic shift. There's a lot of complex stuff behind it that makes it go, but it's not. You never have to learn how to use it. And Nanny Novel is like driving a big rig. It's like driving a semi. Yeah, you have like a whole instrument dash. You have to learn the right ways to shift. You have to learn the right how it all works. There's a big beast behind it. There's a big Unity engine like deep within that. You don't really see it on Nanny Novel as much, but you have access to it. And if you just lift up the hood, it's like you have a monster engine to deal with. So yeah, it just is going to take a little bit of time to kind of work that out, work out a Luna manual shift versus an automatic, but we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. Are we going to port Dust and Air to it? That is a very definite possibility. We get our situation settled up with Project 2 being our test bed for Nanny Novel, and we're able to easily port scripts in and such and do all the little Nanny Novel markers. They do something similar that Tyranno does, at symbols, things like that. We get all that set up, then we can definitely go ahead and say, okay, let's do it with Dust and Air. Boom, we can get that in. It's not looking too terrible amount of dev time as long as we can get it set up. One of the biggest holdups right now is getting our UI elements put in and how that's going to work versus from Tyranno to Nanny Novel. We have all the art assets and stuff. It's just uh, Unity is there's a lot more little steps in how you do it and how you implement it. So we're figuring that out. Um, that's about all we're going to say on that. We are going to consider making a script converter like we did with Tyranno with the KS converter to convert script files. In this case, we might just update our script converter and just add a Nanny Novel element. It's like, you want to convert to Nanny Novel? Boom, here you go. You can convert everything to a Nanny Novel setup. Although, that's a good question because there's certain symbols that are going to be unique to certain projects. So we're going to have to figure something out. Model work on Project 2 is expected to wrap up in February. The way it's looking, we're down to our final 4 or 5 models, and we're still considering a couple, but I think we're going to probably wrap it up in this month, which is then going to shift on to expression sets, and we're not going to have a huge amount of expressions. If you know Katawa Shoujo, they have some expressions. They don't have a ton, so we're probably looking at Project 2 is going to be very similar to that. Dustinator, we did have some work going on, but it hasn't been anything that we can show yet, and also some other stuff that we can't show yet. So that is that. We are considering holding off Raven's Prayer until after we get the Unity thing worked out. And the way it's looking, I'm definitely probably going to hold it off a bit more so we can figure out the Unity, and then if we can do it all in Unity, we'll do it all in Unity. We'll just shift everything to Unity and just say bye-bye to Tyranno. Now, could Strikeworks, could they surprise us this year? Could that dev all of a sudden say, oh, here's an amazing thing that solves everything? It's like a tiny bit of hope. Maybe just a shred, maybe just like a microscopic shred right now. We're not happy with him, and he said a lot of things when he took Tyranno, the Western dev part of it, back, and promised a lot of stuff. He's never came through on it. He's lied about a bunch of things too, so we're not really hopeful on this. I mean, we've looked at his Japanese pages, we've looked at his profiles, and he is not Western development. Bringing both things together is not on his mind. He doesn't want to do it. So we're probably just going to have to give up Tyranno, even though it's a lot easier to use, even though it's a lot better in so many ways. It's just, there's no future for us. And if we have trouble and we try to reach out, who's going to give us support? We can't reach him. He doesn't want to talk to us. We have emailed him before, and he doesn't want to even respond to that. Even if it's Japanese typed, we do a little translator thing. He doesn't respond to it at all. So he probably doesn't consider Western devs to be worth his time, unfortunately. It's probably our best interest to shift into Nanny Novel, but there's always that little shred. So, anyways, that is it for the months. Wait, there's one thing I can do. There's one thing I can show. I usually like to do a little bit of something that I can show. And let me go ahead and, before we close out, this is one of our characters or heroines from Project 2, Eliana. I'm just going to showcase like a little bit of an update on her key image work and how it's working. Now there's the original model, there's a full high detailed model, and this is more anime style key image. This is an example. This just got done end of last year, so this is kind of a one that would have been showcased last month, but we kind of had all the trouble going on. So yeah, it's 2 art styles that we're doing on the Project 2. There's 2 things going to happen. You're going to have your detailed models, and you're going to have more of an anime style like this. But it's turning out pretty well. He's translating the models decently. This one needs a few updates on it. It's missing the sash. It's missing the arm band still. So there are some little updates to be done there. It's just like little tweaks and things like that we have to get done. But yeah, that's just kind of showcasing one of our models and how they transition into key images and story element type stuff. So anyways, that is it for the month of January. Look forward to our next update February. Hopefully we're going to have a lot more decided on Nanny Novel by then. And we're going to have this done and figured out. We actually do have one of our programmers that has some experience on Unity, just not Nanny Novel stuff. So, yeah, we do have a little bit more leaning towards that way versus Rempi, but we'll see. There's always some that Rempi could do an update that we like, okay, now we need Rempi. Anyways, Thanks for joining. See you in the skies. Bye.